Welcome to Cake's Concealed Carry. In this video, I'm going to walk us through the 4 rules of firearm safety. These are rules you should know by heart, but just in case you need a refresher, please come back to this video as often as you'd like. Let's start with rule number 1. Rule number 1, treat every firearm as it's loaded. So I have a dummy gun here, I'm going to treat it as it's loaded. I have a training prop here, but I'm going to treat it like it's a loaded gun. And if someone hands me a firearm that looks like this, I'm going to treat it as a loaded gun, regardless of how much they swear up and down that this is not loaded. This is how you can quickly check the condition of a firearm if you see it like this. First, you drop the magazine. Next, you rack your slide back into the locked position. Once your firearm is in the locked position, you can visibly check down the barrel, into the action, and down the mag well to make sure that there is no bullets or cartridges inside the firearm. You can also use your hand to physically put your finger into the action and up the mag well to ensure that this firearm is in fact clear. If you lay this firearm down with the action facing up, it will be in the clear position, as for most of the RSOs I've worked with. Rule number 2, do not point your firearm at anything you are not willing to destroy. Now this is a training prop firearm, but I'm still going to avoid pointing it at anything I'm willing to destroy, which includes whoops, you don't want to muzzle yourself. If any negligent discharge were to happen, you would never put your hand at risk. So watch your body parts. A lot of times I will see at the range, folks will have their firearms out on the table and they'll be leaning forward with their arm right in front of the muzzle of their firearm. So kind of piles on to rule number 1, which is treat every gun as it's loaded. Rule number 2 is don't have anything in front of that firearm muzzle that you don't want to destroy. Rule number 3, keep your finger off the trigger and out of the trigger guard until you are ready to fire. So a lot of people may be up at the range when they're not actively firing, but they have their finger right here. As a range safety officer, I can't see. From this side, it actually looks like my finger is on that trigger. Humans have a flinch response. If anything were to startle you, you may have a grabbing kind of flinch response. If your finger's in the trigger guard, you may accidentally discharge your firearm if you get startled for whatever reason. So again, repeating rule number 3, finger off the trigger and out of the trigger guard, high up on the frame so that your RSO can tell that you're being safe. Rule number 4, be mindful of your target and what's beyond it. A lot of times we're shooting at paper targets, we're shooting at steel. Handgun bullet can actually travel multiple miles before it stops, as well as through multiple drywalls if it's a full metal jacket. You are responsible for every bullet that comes out of your gun. There may be wildlife that are crossing behind your target. There may be hawks that sometimes swoop down into the gun range where I'm shooting. You want to be aware of what's behind it. That is your 4 rules of firearm safety. I hope you guys can memorize that. I hope you can know it off the top of your head if you're quizzed on it. I know I quiz my girlfriends all the time. When I go shooting with my gun club, we recite the 4 rules before every shooting session, and I hope you do too. Feel free to share this video with your friends or anyone that you're going to link up with go shooting at the gun range, or anyone who's thinking about getting into concealed carry. Thank you on behalf of Cake's Concealed Carry. I hope you stay safe and carry confidently.